I'm changing to where I am doing that free writing, that 10 minutes without lifting up the pencil.
Oh, cool.
And I have a son that is the same way I am. He wants to have his sentences and all his thoughts and everything in order, all perfect on paper, and he's not getting his school writing done. So we're going to do this 10-minute things together at the same time.
Oh, cool.
So it's going to help. It's going to help in that way. So, okay, so I'm doing that, and then the writing good things down. I started with just a few verses, but I realized I need to change it to write good things that happened to me down.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm switching that up, and then let's see. Reviewing the goals and priorities and updating my contact list and the calendar and everything. I have lots of classes planned for this month. Whether or not they happen or not, will just be up to me whether I get this one part where I'm not doing the 2 new contact calls and the follow-up calls, and I need to break through that barrier and do that. So that's my goal, is to actually use those contact numbers I have.
Okay.
People that are already on board, get after them and see if I can't get some of these classes going. And I'm going to continue to read the GoPro and do, my the goal steps that I'm sending you, and continue to read your book. And so, so that I'm going to focus on that. But in November, I'm doing a lot of Oils of the Bible classes, which is a Bible study I put together, and also introducing the oils to some new people. So hopefully that, and getting my team to, they're starting to do one-on-ones, so that I think that's good.
Awesome. Okay, so let me ask you if you logically know, except for the unorganized part, do you know why, kind of emotionally and mentally, why you're not making those phone calls?
Yeah, it's the fear of the phone thing, because I didn't have a phone, and well, I was caused to use a phone at a very young age. My parents do things like make phone calls to doctors and make appointments, and then that we weren't allowed to use the phone socially. They would actually hang up on you, and you would actually have punishment for being off the phone. So for being on the phone with your friends and stuff. So there is a fear of the phone thing, but I know I can work through it. And and you've given me good questions. You've given me the tools. Yeah. So now it's just doing it.
Right. It's funny how everybody has a different story and things they've been through. It's kind of very interesting. So, okay, well, this is perfect, because today we're talking about fear of failure. So this will be perfect. Okay, so Lindsay, you have been going, and tell me, how's the momentum going for you right now, darling? You look so stinking cute.
Thank you. So let's see. I'm trying to think. So this last week, oh my gosh, I don't even know where I am. All I know is it's almost the end of the year. Holy crap.
Scary, I know.
So this last weekend before Halloween, the 24th and 25th, we had a fall advance for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a time to it's halfway, well, it's 1 quarter in. We had some really motivational speakers, so that was really good. Kind of got me, again, remembering why I wanted to do Mary Kay and why I love this company. Because I was going to be gone that weekend and leaving busy with the kids all weekend. I didn't do a lot of business that week. I did more reorders and just following up with already customers that I had in place and team members more than going out and like talking to people, just because I didn't want to be away from home too much and then gone all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then this weekend, my husband has started with school, so he's been very stressed out. And when our husbands get stressed out, it's usually taken out on us.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a few kind of just rough moments of like, okay, well, honey, when am I supposed to work? Like, I understand that you have school, but so it's been a little, not that the momentum has ended, but it's just been a little bit more uphill. Like, just kind of don't stop and just keep going, rather than, okay, I'm kind of writing it out again.
Okay.
So
All right.
it's just kind of been okay. With him starting school, it's the whole reason why we moved up here to Washington. So it's not like something that we can really just put on the back burner. But it's something else that he's adding on to his schedule, whereas I just got out of school. So we're finding that balance.
Right, which is hard.
now that our roles have kind of switched.
Right. And I have this theory about that. Okay, this is my theory, is that we tell God what our goals are, and we go, and by the way, this is my limitations. Like, hubby not being able to watch the kids as much, and even if you're in the other room and you're on the phone, but he's studying, like you have a new set of limitations. And I really believe that sometimes we can accomplish more than we realize we can with God's help. When we just go, okay, this is what I want to do, and this is how much I have to put into it. And so it's not simple and it's not easy, but with some thinking outside the box and kind of like giving it to him and let some inspiration come in, something will happen. Either you'll find someone to help you with the kids, or you'll do more business at the parties you're at, or you know what I mean? Like, there's this, and you kind of have to like choose to believe it. I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's not something you just do. It's something you literally choose to think and believe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been through some hard things in life where it's like, either I can just be worried and feel stuck, or I can choose to either believe something better is going to happen or whatnot. So what would you like to have happen in the next week or so?
Well, I would definitely I would like to get going to back where I was.
Tell me what that is. Like, how much activity a week? Give me a couple, like dinner.
Well, when we did our budget a couple weeks ago, I think it was one of like two meetings ago or so, we sat down and we just had that big old, this is what he's doing, this is what I'm doing, this is what we're doing. Mm-hmm. So when we sat down and did the budget, he was saying, like, when I talked to you, like, my business needs to bring in about $2,000 in profit. Yes, honey, I'm very proud that you're counting. Sorry. Okay. So my business needs to be bringing in about $2,000 in profit, which is $4,045 in sales.
Right.
So basically, it's $1,000 in sales a week, which isn't necessarily difficult to do. I'm just finding a really hard time to, like, I need to be doing parties, definitely more so than just individual faces or double facials. Like, I need to be 5-6 people at a time.
Right.
At least, 3 to 4 parties a week. I know that I could hit that goal, if not go over.
Right.
So it's just kind of, okay, like, I need to go. Like, I've been totally fine booking people individually or double facials. For some reason, my parties have dropped a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I've looked at it I've looked at it from every possible angle, as maybe I'm not wording it right. I've looked up my hostess program and been like, okay, maybe I can change a couple things. I've talked to some of my past hosts and like, what did you really enjoy about the party? What were some things that, you wanted to see, you didn't want to see? Because I'm not a person to be like, I'm not going to take constructive criticism.
Right.
And see what I can change. And there's just been really nothing that I can't figure out or pinpoint where the yeses have gone.
Okay.
And it's not like I don't get a lot of like, no, not evers. It's just like, oh, well, with the holidays coming up, and it's like, well, it's a great time to, do your, get Christmas gifts and Christmas shopping done all in one spot. Holiday look for, without being pushy, just educating them on really what the holiday season with Mary Kay really can bring you.
Okay, so this is one of those things. It's like you're gonna go, oh, like because you're getting it. And I even heard you say the comment, what questions? This comes back to kind of a new set of questions because you have this season gives a different value or offers something in addition, because this is my guess. If they're anything like I am, I'm sort of switching from anything I'd be spending money on myself to money I might be spending on someone else. Okay. So what you might need to do then is make that shift to your questions being about other people. Who are you buying Christmas gifts for? How soon do you start purchasing things for Christmas? What women in your life do you buy for? What men? How much do you normally spend? Is it just a little token or is it something substantial? Do they like pampering themselves? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, it sounds like possibly part of what could help you. And thinking about this for all three of you with the change in the months, the questions need to now become about what do the people need, and see if there's anything that based on the kind of gifts they would give, do you offer anything that would fit that? And you might not, but you still have had a really good conversation and show you were in tune with their hearts, and they'll still do more business with you later, and some will buy from you. Do you kind of see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but unfortunately, a lot of times this comes back to, again, what are the questions? Because what I heard you saying was they don't understand all the value Mary Kay has to offer them right now. And that's the whole thing. You have to find out what value they need first before you start educating them on it. Because then they're going to listen better.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And I know you're doing that in other areas. So I know you're going to go, oh, duh, of course. Because you're doing that. You know how to ask better questions in a recruit interview. You know how to ask better questions when you're just face-to-face with somebody in a group, right? All those things you've made tweaks on, and they make little improvements, right? Like when you recruited, you knew exactly what their personal goals are. When you sell, you know what they buy is something they really need because you're asking a good question. Is that correct? Would you feel like those are accurate statements? Are you there, Lindsay? Sorry, I hear kids and not you.
No, I can. You're freezing every now and again, but I can still hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So is saying that you're asking better questions when it comes to recruit and sales, do you feel like that's accurate about yourself?
Yes.
Okay. And so this is just, the game's changed because people are spending more money on others than themselves right now. You know what I mean? They might put off treating themselves and getting a better skincare system right now. Come after, February 1, when tax money comes in, all of a sudden that money is theirs again. But right now, mentally, any extra money they have is usually somebody else's. If they're anything like me, would a lot of you agree with that? You see what I'm saying? Okay. It's about how can I help someone else? And, if you think about it, even from my perspective, saying, look, I want to help you make more money this Christmas season. That's why you should come train with me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had the current client I had her message a couple ladies who are sitting on the fence with training with me. And she's like, it's one party. You do one extra party and your training's paid for. Why wouldn't anybody just do this? And I knew, I said, this is because they're scared that they're not going to succeed, and when she started, she didn't have that much faith, but now she's booked in 6 weeks, 8 or, I think 9 in-home parties and 10 catalog parties or something. I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's like the value was very worth it to her. And it's the same thing. It's like, what's the value? Okay. The value now is they're buying gifts instead of for themselves.
Mm.
So that's something that we can go over and help you come up with some questions. And really, hey, who are the top 10 people on your list that you have to buy a gift versus, and then you probably have gifts or things that for teachers gifts, tell me who those people are that you're buying $5 and under gifts. As we talk about teachers or a friend or a work colleague or, you know what I mean? Think outside the box that way.
Okay.
Does that help a little bit?
Yes.
Okay. I just came up with my next vlog. You guys always help me. All right. So, but it's cool because the exact same thing will happen. And just step back, listen a little bit more again, because you believe in what you do and you really want to help them. And like you just said, you don't quite see the value in what Mary Kay can offer this time of year. And that's the thing. It's but you have to find out what they want before you offer the value. That's the only little change. Then you can do your thing with the Mary Kay thing and explain to them how much you have. Right on. You just have to find out what they need first so you match it and they feel heard and they don't feel sold to. Just that little tweak. Just those 5 extra minutes to ask a couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it might be the same way with hostessing. Hey, if you're a hostess and get some stuff for free or a discount, or I don't know, I know you each make your own hostess program. Who do you need some gifts from that because you had some friends in dessert is able to help you get some gifts for free? Or are you wanting to give something to your 16-year-old daughter? Or do you see what I'm saying? Okay, because they're assuming not everybody, all their friends are thinking the same thing. They're focused on gifts. So, maybe you do something like go into a bank where there's business women and it's harder for them to find time to shop, and you go in with some gift ideas.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? It's a shift. It's just a shift in who is being purchased for.
Okay.
And you can do the same thing in all your businesses. Are your wheels turning? And you're sparks kind of going off as you think about it? Okay. All right. Okay. You totally got this, Lindsay. Send me a list of questions. I'll help you with them. Okay, hun?
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about fear of failure, because this is one of my absolute favorite topics.
Michelle?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go
Can
ahead.
I?
No, do you have an idea? Go for it.
I do, for Lindsay.
Yeah, go for it.
One of the things that really helped me, and I didn't have somebody help me do this, but when I was a teenager, just starting out working on my own and doing that kind of thing at probably 16 years old, nobody ever told me about good skincare. And, I would just suggest that you put that in the minds of, moms and grandmas and stuff like that, because so many kids nowadays, they use that cruddy over-the-counter stuff. And I started out with Clinique, and that made such a huge difference in my own skin that it was really life-changing, because my skin cleared up and that kind of things. And I know that Mary Kay is a great product. And so that was just my suggestion, is that maybe your target audience, and one of those target audiences would be for the teenage girls of people that you know, grandmas and moms, aunts, things like that. Just a thought. You probably already do it, but just a thought.
Right. And then there's also gift certificates and helping their husbands or boyfriends or whatever shop. There's stuff that you want. Here, this is a question that you could be asking women that you meet, because this is how it works at my house, okay? I'm not one that expects my husband to give me a surprise. I do like something wrapped under the tree, but I really don't care if I know what it is, okay? Asking them, hey, tell me a little bit, are you someone who you and your husband kind of like, hey, this is what I'd really like, and they kind of know, and you go and get the perfect gift that you know what they want, or is it supposed to be a total surprise? Could I help your husband shop for something for you and make him feel really important and you got exactly what you wanted? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's another group. It's just you've got to think outside the box this time of year, okay? And come December, when women really aren't buying, like those 2 weeks before Christmas, that's really the time to hit the men up, because they don't shop till the last minute. And you could be somebody's hero. Okay? It's all about thinking outside the box. People say you can't do sales this time of year, you don't recruit. I love to prove people wrong and do it anyway. It is such a high for me. I'm so naughty because I just I really love to do what everybody says I can't do, okay? I'm so nuts. But you really, it's all about, and the thing is, the other thing, like I want you to have, I don't know if you can take notes right now with baby in hand, but if you will open up your heart right now and really say, okay, I need a creative idea to find a way to do sales and my babies be taken care of, because your husband, it can't be as much of a dad right now, which there's only so many hours a day. He's not doing anything wrong. So we always understand. We're not husband bashing, but I want you to kind of, you need an outside the box idea right now. It's just the way it is. Okay. And it's doable. It really is doable, Lindsay. So I want you to just kind of open that up to yourself as you listen to these stories. I'm going to tell you, because I have some fun stories to share with you, but anything can happen. Okay. And it's frustrating, like the frustration level and having stuff taken out on you and all that. It sucks. It totally sucks. Like, we need to be validated at times, but I will also tell you that I know miracles can happen too. Okay. So you're amazing. You're amazing. I know you can do anything. I also know you have 2 babies, and I know you want to be a good mom and wife. And so we got to think outside the box. Okay, girlfriend? All right. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about fear of failure. This is a pretty amazing topic. If you ever need a book to read, if you're feeling kind of down, or how many times am I going to do the same thing before I finally get to the success I want, or any of those kind of thoughts, or is this really worth keeping, to keep doing this? This is what I want you to hang on to, okay? So this book is called Failing Forward, okay? Instead of, it's an amazing book, because its whole premise is about the fact that there aren't failures, there's just simply learning experiences. If you got your butt back up and kept trying, you didn't fail, okay? We have experiences, and people are gonna say no, and things aren't gonna work out always the way we want. And then there's other times they work out better than we ever imagined, okay? And you have to hang on to those and remember that that's just, nothing goes smoothly. I mean, have you all seen that thing on Facebook where it says like the road to success, and there's this one that goes straight up like this, and it says the real road to success, and it's like this, and it's like it's not straight at all, okay? If you can prove me wrong and find a book that tells a story about this person who accomplished a great deal of success and didn't have any challenge on the way, I would love to be proved wrong. but I'm 99.9999% sure that everyone who has success overcame some sort of sucky challenge. Okay? And they do. They suck and they're frustrating and it's not fair. And it's not fair when hubby takes things out on us. And it's not fair when the company we signed up with doesn't work out. And it's not fair when hubby, has to have fifth surgery on his heart. It sucks. Okay? But then miracles happen too. Okay? You're never forsaken. And so you just have to watch for those things to come. Just like, okay, the bad thing happened, so that means the good thing's got to be around the corner. Okay? So that's what you got to kind of hang on to sometimes. It's not very fun when stuff goes down at certain times. So one of my very favorite stories out of this book, I just think this is so cool. And it's one of those things that I'm constantly trying to teach the people I work with, is that consistency and repetition and constant practice is the key to getting all this stuff. To ask those questions and go, oh, that's the question that gets people to open up. Or, oh, this is how I needed to reward that question. Or, oh, this is how many phone calls I have to make in a week to have consistent business. Or, oh, this is what I do at an expo to then go home and have names that I actually make money with, okay? All those things are like, oh, these aha moments, okay? So there's a story in this book, and it's about this pottery class. So there's a pottery class, and the class is divided up into two groups. One group is told, all I want you to do is focus on creating the most perfect pot. You only have to hand in one piece of pottery, and we want it to be the most perfect. It's going to be strictly judged on quality. That's it. Just judge on quality. The other group was told, you're going to be judged on quantity. You're going to bring all your pots in. We're going to put them on a scale. We're going to see how much they weigh. You have this much done. This is an A. And totally judged on quantity. And he said, okay, go, get to work. So I want you to think about this for a minute with our businesses, the two different ways that we can do this. So the one group went and studied and studied and studied and planned and theorized and planned and theorized and talked to people and totally did everything they could to figure out the perfect way to make the perfect pot. The other group, they went and they made pot after pot after pot after pot, and they just kept going and going because they knew it was going to be on weight. They came the last day of the class to get their grade. They brought in the quality, and they looked at it, and they examined it, and they gave them a grade. They weighed the quantity, noticed how much was there, all the work they'd put into it, gave them a grade. As they looked at the pots, they started to notice something. So I want to ask you something. When you looked at the pots, the last pot made by the quantity and the pot made by the quality, which one do you think had the best quality to it? You're all muted. Which pot had the greatest quality?
I'm going to say the ones that did it over and over and over again.
What do you say, Rona?
I think I agree.
How about you, Lindsay? Planning or activity?
I think it's the activity, but closer to the, like Belinda said, closer to the end of doing it, not like their beginning ones.
Right. And that's exactly what happened. They found out that the group who simply did it over and over again, they learned from their mistakes so much faster, and they were able to get a better quality pot, okay? And this is why you have a tracker, and this is why we have accountability, and this is why I'm like, just go do it. Don't worry about if you don't say it perfectly. Don't worry about it. Maybe you don't get all 3 questions in. Maybe you do say a yes, no question. I don't care. Just go. Just do it more. Just do it. I don't care if it's on the phone, person, talk to people, even if it's on Facebook. Ask more questions. 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 Get more quantity of your activity in, and you will notice how much more you'll improve. You will improve so much faster if you can get more quantity in. And yeah, you're going to have some really ugly pots, and you're going to talk to some people, and you're going to walk away and go, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Why would I say that? Or, oh, I should have asked them this. This would have been the perfect follow-up question. But you know what? You know what to say next time. Okay? I started doing these classes last January. And Lindsay has brought up this fantastic point for me today that I need to teach something a little bit different right now this time of year. That because people are buying for other people, I have something different I need to teach right now. Okay? She just helped me be my quantity pot for the day. Okay? We all have things we have to learn. Now and then I'm not totally stubborn. I do try to learn all the time. But I'm also pretty slightly stubborn, but I won't ever admit that to my husband. But anyway, but that's the thing. It's like you need to be doing more of it. You need to but the thing is, you can do 1 hour a day and still accomplish a ton. Or you can choose to have one day you do 5 hours worth or something like that. Okay? It just needs to be consistent whichever way you choose to do it. There's not a right or wrong way. There just has to be so many hours, period. There has to be so much practice. Okay? The quality, they had to make so many pots to get really good at it. Okay? And that's the problem. Sometimes we spend our time product knowledge. Oh, I swear I could shoot myself in the head sometimes with product knowledge, okay? Or little flyers or pretty things to post on Facebook. There's all this planning and planning and planning and planning, and hardly any pots getting made. And you can feel really busy in your business because you're planning your business, but you're not actually making pots. Your pots are your income, okay? Sometimes that income's $2, sometimes it's $100, but it's still bucks. Planning doesn't get you anywhere. Planning doesn't make you money, okay? So the only thing that makes you money in this business is to be seeing people or talking to people. Now, I used to be pretty strict about get off Facebook and pick up the phone, okay? And I still feel pretty strongly about that, but I definitely have been learning over the last probably 4 months that you can have conversations with people on social media and even text, but it still has to be question-based, okay? I had a gal, sweet, okay? Like, this isn't a criticism, it's just an observation that I got. And she kept telling me she was sending out messages after they got their product, and it happened to be a makeup kind of product. And she would send out, hey, do you like it? She kept saying she sent emails or messages out and asking questions, but she wasn't getting good results. And finally, I was kind of like, there's something wrong. And I don't know what it is. So I said, will you please copy and paste those messages and send them to me? And I found out what was wrong. And she was saying, I love feedback. Was that about them or was that about her?
Sure.
Okay. Now, she meant it well, right? I mean, she wasn't saying that because she's selfish. But that's the thing. When we do business, when we do better sales, it is because we're focused on them. I'm like, ask them a question about their favorite eyeshadow. Ask them what they're using for this. Ask them. And I gave her 5 other things to say besides, I love feedback. Because what was that even going to do? Or were they going to say, well, I got it late, or I didn't like how you treated me, or, oh, thank you so much for ordering that. I mean, I don't know what they were going to say to her that she wanted to hear. But, I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't getting her anywhere. That question, that statement was a dead end. And she was wondering why she wasn't getting messages back. She wasn't asking enough questions that showed her interest in them. She was interested in them. She just didn't know. I was telling her, and she thought she was doing it, but sometimes, like, these tweaks have to be made. And so do this as much as you can, okay? Think outside the box. I think Lindsay, well, you all have different scenarios. You all have really different lives. And you do have to think outside the box, and you have to be really deliberate about it. And, you know, Lindsay, like, I have a gal, I wonder if she'd even talk to you, and maybe you don't, I don't know if you're interested in doing this, but this gal is pretty successful with doTERRA. And when I met her, she wanted to be successful with the business, but she really, you could tell she didn't know if she really could. And her husband works really long hours, and she has 2 little boys. I mean, really similar situation to you. And she got crazy deliberate about making phone calls during nap time. I mean, she was so consistent and so dedicated to this. And I'm not saying that's a solution to your problem. It's just get your juices flowing kind of scenario, I'm telling you, okay? And she did. She just knew that during nap time, she had to make phone calls, and it didn't matter what else that was out there, but that was what she was going to spend her time doing. And it's cool. She has come a long ways since I met her. I mean, crazy long ways in a short amount of time. She's really rocked it. And, you know, some of it had to do with questions, some of it had to be about being deliberate, some of it had to do with thinking outside the box. It wasn't one thing. It was a combination of things, and product knowledge and the stuff I was teaching her, it all came together. And so that's the thing. It's all about having those habits, okay? So going back and setting those alarms and all those kind of things, okay? Let me look at my agenda because I get way off sometimes. Okay. So Rona, we're going to talk about the phone. And so do you make many connections on Facebook, or is it just kind of
It's social.
it's social, but it's not business
For me, yeah. I keep the doTERRA Facebook page, but I don't do a lot of business off of it.
No, most people don't. Okay.
It's mostly what I refer people to if they want to know about doTERRA. I refer them to my doTERRA Watkins page. So. Okay.
All right. So let's talk a little bit about the phone. And it's totally normal. Like, this is the thing. 98% of Americans have phone reluctance. Okay. It's totally normal. And so feeling guilty and upset with yourself is just like a total waste of energy. Okay. So you just got to like set that aside. You don't like how you feel, but you're not doing something wrong. Okay. It's not like you didn't break a law, or you know what I mean? Like, there's no point in feeling bad about it. It's not, you know, you didn't break a commandment. You didn't break a law. Okay. It just sucks that that's the way it is, but you're totally normal. Okay. So you've got to set like those yucky feelings aside.
I am totally working.
You're totally what? Oh, shoot.
I am totally working. Working. I know I have to do it. You're frozen.
And everybody does. But see, that's the thing. If you spend your time saying, I have to do it, I should do it, all those phrases, like, the energy just dies. Does that make sense? Am I frozen for everybody? Okay. So
we're for just a second.
Okay, am I back? You know, this is so important, guys. Okay, this is more important than understanding how to make good phone calls, because that is important. I really believe in the phone calling system that I teach you. I do. It doesn't matter how much I believe.
This is what we see. This is a hand.
Say again. Sorry, everybody's frozen for me. I don't know if I'm frozen for you guys.